I just quit my job, well, 3 months ago, and I'm literally right now about to sign a podcast deal. How in the world did that happen? Story time. Yes, so it is story time, a different kind of story than what I normally tell. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Mr. Jim. I am a story creator and writer for kids all around the world, and I did quit my job recently to do this full time. So how in the world did we get here? My wife and I, we live in South Carolina. We got 3 boys. If we rewind, I was working a corporate job where I was traveling quite a bit. I was driving 5 hours a day and flying here and there sometimes, and quite a bit of travel. I love telling my kids stories every night at bedtime. And so while I was gone, that made it pretty difficult. And so my wife, she would call me sometimes, and, I'd on the phone, make up a story. Because every night I was making up a story with my boys. I was like, all right, who's the bad guy tonight? And what's happening? Or what's the adventure or treasure that we're finding? And me doing that on the road was difficult. So what happened is we kind of together, my wife and I came up with the idea of like, why don't I just record a couple and then you can play them while I was gone? It's a whole lot smarter than doing this over the phone. So I texted her a few voice memos of me doing stories, but then it just got lost in the feed of text. So then I thought, maybe, why don't I just put these on as a podcast? This podcast can be kind of the library of stories that we make for the boys, and it'll just be a lot easier. They can listen to them on their iPad. My wife can listen to them like in the car, while they're driving, all that. And that's it. I found a free app called Anchor. That was just an easy way to make a podcast on my phone. They're not paying me to say that. But that's just how it happened. I was literally just, from my car, just taking my phone and saying, one day there were 2 boys, or, a dinosaur, and just making a story. And I thought that was it. Well, people started listening, and people started leaving reviews where they were saying, my daughter loves your stories. Could you make a story for her? And I was like, what? I was like, babe, look at this. Like, there's 15 people listening to these stories. How crazy is that? Did you tell your friends about this? And she's like, no. And so it just kind of got out there. So I started making stories for these other kids that were listening along. And that just became the thing of the show, Kids Short Stories, where kids send in ideas and I make a short story for them. And it became just a fun little project that I was doing for my kids' benefit, because all the content was coming out really for them. Probably 9 months in, I was like, geez, this is turning into something kind of special. Like, there's like 1,000 people listening. And oh my gosh. The timing of recording this video is so awesome. So I just now, let's see, received a text message from my attorney to sign this deal. If I fast forward all the way ahead, there's a deal that I'm signing now. I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry. 2 years into this, I find myself in a situation where there's hundreds of thousands of people listening to these stories from Singapore and Australia to Pakistan, Iraq, to Kentucky, all the way around. And I'm doing these stories every day. So Kids Short Stories is an everyday story. Then Kids Animal Stories kind of evolved out of that. And soon there's going to be another show as well. But several months ago, I started talking with the team from iHeart and Collab, who they've put a joint venture together, and so I'm signing a deal with them, I guess, today. And I am so excited. This has been a huge work in progress. So I ended up quitting my job in August, a couple months ago, this is November that I'm recording this right now. And so a couple months ago, August, I quit my job because I knew I had to go full steam into this and just give everything that I have. And so I got an office, a little office space now, and this thing, so I'm not recording stories on my phone anymore. And it's just been a wild, awesome ride of a podcast journey. And so now I get to share these so many stories with you. Click subscribe, and this is going to be a really fun journey. I guess I need to go sign this document for my attorney, and then I have a meeting soon after.
3 hours later.
All right, I have signed, I think, everything. I'm clicking continue. Almost done. I agree to be legally bound by this document. I agree to sign this document. I agree. It's official. Oh my gosh. I'm without words. This happened, and the adventure is just beginning. Well, I'm gonna go do a dance, but